No, I always knew I needed help because I was dumb. That was the story that I bought, for myself. That was my identity. And so I was like, I need to learn from other people. You mentioned material expert, and I think that this is where. Whoa, hey now. I think it's this is where we kind of lose a lot of people because somebody listening is like, I'm not an expert at anything. Like they might right now they might be studying some nutrition, or they might be studying some training, or they might be studying photography or whatever it is, and they're like, I don't have any right to go out there and speak because there's a lot of people speaking, a lot of people talking. There's a lot of great information, a lot of great resources. Who am I? How'd you get the confidence to kind of throw your hat into that?
So I used to feel the exact same way. Like, who am I to even speak on any of these things? I've never done a powerlifting meet. If you look at all my numbers, by powerlifting numbers, they all suck. By CrossFit numbers, I was the fittest teen in Roseville in 2013. So, I do have like...
Can't even walk down the goddamn street in Roseville.
That's right. That's why I live in Sacramento.
You know about our stats in the Cayman Islands? You know about that?
Oh, yeah. I don't.
We're number one.
Number one.
Really?
In the Cayman Islands.
Wow. Okay.
Yes, number one podcast.
Let's go. Yes, sir.
Podcast.
All right.
Yeah.
So I did have that feeling of imposter syndrome and kind of wondering like, why are like, okay, like I feel like I know these things, but at the same time, I kind of don't know everything because all I would do is defer to experts like you and Nsima. I'd ask Jesse a ton of questions. And then I forget who exactly worded it this way, which really opened my eyes to everything. But they said, look at all your wrestling teammates, look at all your wrestling athletes, and look at all your jiu-jitsu teammates. No one else is interested in this stuff like you are. So they're probably don't have the investment or time or energy to learn these things. So that makes you, compared to them, the material expert. Now, if Phil DeRue and I have a conversation, he's the material expert. Has more time in the game, has a lot more experience, has a lot more knowledge. And I think that's just natural to recognize, like when certain people have more knowledge and you can learn from them. But as far as building confidence and becoming a material expert, just recognizing that like, hey, I love jiu-jitsu, I love wrestling. I also love being a freaking meathead. And I've spent so many years reading and listening and studying all these things that maybe other people that I train with aren't as invested in. So that kind of establishes me as a small material expert in that community, and then that will slowly grow and grow the more time you put into it.
Yeah, I remember when I first started talking about strength training, I was like, man, a lot of people are going to hate me for doing this because I think at the time, I squatted like, I can't really remember. I think I was starting to squat around 800 pounds. And somebody listening might be like, that's a lot of fucking weight. Like, you got every right to say something, but I was really, really nervous. I mean, we have some DVDs, that we made like a long ass time ago. Never enough DVDs.
Yeah.
And like I had a really hard time, speaking and just getting used to. I was used to like being in front of the camera a little bit for like a little bit of lifting because we would show some lifting, but speaking and talking in front of a camera was like, just, you could tell, like when I talked, I mean, you could tell that I was nervous. But I just kind of thought I needed to like jump out there. I just thought I needed to like do it. And I think the only way that you really truly end up learning, and the only way to become a material expert is to share material. And then over time you will error correct and you'll learn, like as you're learning with what's working for your fighters, as opposed to like something you might read in a book or something that you might hear someone say. You might hear somebody, I mean, I remember Dave Tate telling me one time,
hey guys, you still drinking sugary hydration drinks like Gatorade? I don't know what that is, but Element, one of our sponsors, has an amazing electrolyte mix of sodium, potassium, magnesium, the perfect blend to hydrate you before a workout with no sugar. It's great while you're on a fast, or if you're on a low carb diet, or if you're on any diet. Just check them out. They're amazing. Andrew, tell them how to get it.
You guys got to head over to drinklmnt.com/powerproject. Load up on a value bundle. That's getting 4 boxes for the price of 3. Again, that's at drinklmnt.com/powerproject. Head over there right now.
that, and this is no knock on Louis Simmons. Louis Simmons is my mentor and will forever be. But he was like, and I was working with high school athletes, 40 or 50 kids in a room at one time. And I was probably about a year into it or so. And Dave said, Louis would never, ever be able to do what you're doing right now. And I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? He just meant because of the fucking mayhem. Because to coach 40 or 50 kids and to get their attention and to make sure they're not getting hurt and to try to organize the workouts in a way that they get good workouts in was really, really difficult. And so that made me recognize like, oh shit, like the stuff I'm reading in the book and the stuff I'm learning from Louis, that only gets me so far. I'm going to have to kind of like make up my own shit because of what I'm seeing, because there's these kids are breaking barbells and breaking plates, and I've never seen that before. I don't know what the fuck's going on. And so I had to kind of use some unconventional stuff, as you're probably doing now.
When you, at that time when you were coaching the high school kids and working with them and establishing your confidence as a material expert, did that expand as you kind of developed the slingshot? Like as you grew in those areas, you recognized areas of like, who am I to make this revolutionary product that I know can change the world, but who am I? Like I've never invented anything else before. Did that carry over well, or did you almost have to re-inspire that confidence within yourself to do that?
I was nervous about talking, but I wasn't short on confidence because like I once I started lifting when I was young, I really truly felt that I was like destined to do it. Like I felt like I found something that was like really like part of me almost in some weird way, almost as if you might hear some people say that something is like a calling for them, or that like I didn't necessarily find powerlifting found me type of deal. Yeah. Without my brothers, I wouldn't have found it, but it just fit really well. So in terms of like having confidence to share out the slingshot and stuff, I was like, no, I'm a bad motherfucker. Like I lift a lot of fucking weight. Like at that time, I think I already benched over 800 pounds. I'm like, I'm lifting some fucking heavy shit. And when I'd go to competitions, when I was in like, I would be in a flight in a competition and I'd be like, sometimes middle of the pack in the squat. But every time we benched, I was the last person to lift every single time because they raised the weight every single time. But it wasn't like a jump of like 30 pounds. It was like they put on another red plate. Wow. So I was like, I'm fucking people up in this. So I'm going to tell people about, how this can be utilized, how this can be used. So it wasn't hard for me to talk about.
Ed Milet has said something recently. I know you're a big fan of Ed Milet, and he said that the best performers in the world have two extremes, and one extreme is they have an insane level of confidence that like whoever touches that bench, like they're dead. They'll get crushed under the bar, but I'm not getting crushed. I'm here to kill everybody on this bench. But they also have an extreme amount of humility, the type of humility that where they seek out mentors, they seek out experts in that area. And when did you feel that, it sounds like you had that from an early age, like you felt like lifting was your calling, you had the confidence there, but also the humility to seek out Dave Tate, Louis Simmons, Charles Poliquin, all those people. Did you recognize that early on and kind of lean into that, or were you more so it just kind of happened that way?
No, I always knew I needed help because I was dumb. That was the story that I bought, for myself. That was my identity. And so I was like, I need to learn from other people. And when I went and saw a Dave Tate seminar, that was really transformative because he, in his opening thing, he talked about this kid that couldn't learn, and he had this super sick story, and he's like, that kid is the guy standing in front of you today. And I was like, what? Like, and then he just blew our minds with all the stuff that he shared that day. He was like, I didn't think I could learn this, I didn't think I could learn that, and now I'm here teaching all of you guys. He's like, I couldn't put two words together in front of people. I'm like, that's me. And so that was really big for me. But yeah, I think just kind of knowing that I had strengths on one side and had some real weaknesses on another, I just kind of always knew that I wouldn't be able to do much of anything without other people. And growing up with great parents, that was really helpful as well. And then growing up with a good family structure was awesome because I had my cousins, my brothers. I always had other people around, and I was like, I want to, whatever this is, like this way, I want to try to keep that going and keep things in that direction with anything that I do.
I think that's a great thing, though. I mean, not that, because I like, we know the story, like, when you were younger, they put you in certain classes. So like thinking you're dumb, one would think that that's not a good idea, but I think in essence that's a really good thing, because you want to realize how much you don't know, and then you seek that out. But if you're like, oh, I'm super smart, I know all this, I'm super intelligent, I got this, then you're going to be kind of stuck leaning on what you know 100%. And what you do, you know?